Hello there, my name is Edison. And today, I will show you a strategy to pay off your student loans 4 to 5 times faster. Let's move into a classroom setting, where I will be able to illustrate this much easier so that you can follow along. We are going to bring in John. John is a recent college graduate, and like a lot of college graduates, John is starting his professional career with a lot of student loans. So let's begin by taking a look at the terms of a student loan debt. Let's assume that John borrowed $80,000. It is a 15-year amortized loan, and currently has a 0% interest. This is because the loan is in deferment. Now, I just want to clarify that deferred interest on a student loan is not really 0%. They only give you a certain amount of time to start making payments, and once you do, they will add all the deferred interest to the current loan. In this case, the $80,000 loan. What John did was, he called up the bank and asked them what is the actual interest rate on his student loan. He was told that it is 6%. John was also advised that his loan is deferred for 1 year, and he does not have to make any minimum payments. So, let's find out how much interest will be accrued when the year is up. To do this, we will take the principal balance of $80,000 and multiply it by 0.06, and that equals $4,800. So just to illustrate what happens, John's student loan principal balance is $80,000. After the first year, even though you are not required to make payments, the added interest of $4,800 brings the total principal amount to $84,800. Over time, gradually your loan principal starts to decrease. Now brace yourself. Being that your student loan is amortized. In other words, it is a compound interest calculation, instead of a simple interest calculation. The total interest John would have to pay on the $84,800 loan is $44,006.31, making it a total of $128,806.31. Tell me if this looks like a 6% interest rate. I don't think so. If you do not know the difference between compound interest and simple interest, then you must watch my previous video titled, How to Pay Off Your 30-Year Mortgage in Just 5 to 7 Years. I will leave the link in the comments section below. Based on a student loan calculator, we have figured out that John will be paying $715 a month for the next 15 years, or 180 months. Now that we know our monthly payments and how long it will take us to pay it off, how do you pay this loan 4 to 5 times faster? Well, you will need to utilize a banking tool, called a line of credit. A line of credit could be a credit card or a personal line of credit. It does not matter which line of credit you choose. They will both work the same. If you already have a credit card, then you can use it. Or you might want to go to your local credit union and see what rates they are offering on personal lines of credit. Once you have compared the rates and terms on both your credit card and personal line of credit, just go ahead and pick the one that has the best rate and terms. Since in my previous video, I used a credit card to illustrate how to pay off your 30-year mortgage in 5 to 7 years, let's go ahead and use a personal line of credit as the banking tool of choice to pay off student debt. Everyone's financial situation is different. For John, this is his current financial status. You can plug in your own numbers in order to implement this strategy. John's net monthly income is $3,500. His monthly living expenses add up to $2,000. His leftover income, or cash flow, is $1,500. This is his monthly income of $3,500, minus his living expenses of $2,000. John was also able to get a $20,000 limit on a personal line of credit, or PLOC. It is at an 8% interest. Now that John has his banking tool in place, he will aggressively start attacking the principal balance of the student loan. Here is exactly how he will do it. He will immediately take $15,000 from his line of credit, and pay it towards the principal of the student loan. It is very important that the payment is towards the principal of the loan, and not as a regular payment. This is because you don't want this money to go towards paying down interest. The second step that John must take, is to utilize his personal line of credit as his checking account. For this strategy to work, you must give up the old way of having a checking account and a savings account. I illustrate the reason why in detail, in my previous video labeled, How to Pay Off Your 30-Year Mortgage in Just 5 to 7 Years. I will leave the link in the description below. By using his personal line of credit as his checking and savings account, John will be able to have his funds combined in one place, therefore making it easier to pay off his student loan much faster. I will explain how very shortly. So, we are going to bypass the traditional banking system of receiving your check and then depositing it to your checkings account and then your savings account and so on. It is not serving its potential. The best way to explain this strategy is with the previous timetable, which clearly illustrate the continual progress. Since now this is our checking account every single week, as soon as John gets paid, John will be depositing his monthly income of $3,500 every single month right into his line of credit. So, right from the start, the existing balance on the line of credit is $15,000. Remember, this is the $15,000 which John took from the line of credit and paid it to the principal balance of his student loan. So, the first month John deposits his income of $3,500 into the line of credit. This brings his $15,000 balance to $11,500. However, remember that John also has monthly living expenses of $2,000. Therefore, the very first month, after all income and expenses, his new balance on his line of credit is $13,500. Now, let's go ahead and continue applying the same strategy for the next few months, and see how long it will take John to pay off his $15,000 balance on his personal line of credit. This was month 1. On month 2, the $13,500 balance minus John's income of $3,500 plus living expenses of $2,000. At the end of month 2 the new balance on his personal line of credit is $12,000. John repeats this strategy for the next few months and this is what happens. On month 3, the balance of $12,000 goes down to $10,500. On month 4, same thing. $10,500, minus John's income of $3,500, plus expenses of $2,000. New balance on his line of credit is $9,000. At the end of month 5, the new balance is $7,500. Month 6, $6,000. Month 7, $4,500. Month 8, $3,000. On month 9, the new balance is $1,500. And finally, on month 10, the final $1,500 is paid off. As you can see, it took John 10 months to pay off $15,000 on his line of credit. Part of the reason that it only took 10 months, is because the line of credit is calculated as simple interest. And the student loan takes longer and costs more in interest, because it is a compound interest calculation. Now that we know that John can pay off $15,000 every 10 months on his line of credit, let's analyze how long it will take him to pay off his student loan of $84,800. John makes the first payment of $15,000 to his student loan, and the new balance on the student loan is now $69,800. After he has paid off the $15,000 on his line of credit, repeats the strategy and paid another $15,000 to his student loan. Now the new balance on his student loan is $54,800. John repeats this a third time and pays another $15,000 from his line of credit to the student loan. And the new balance on the student loan is now $39,800. In 10 months, he applies another $15,000 from the line of credit, making the new balance on the student loan $24,800. Then another $15,000 in 10 months, and the new student loan balance is now $9,800. And the final balance of $9,800 can be paid in 6.5 months, applying the same strategy. As you can clearly see, John was able to pay off his entire student loan of $84,800 in about 4.5 years. Instead of the 15 years as originally expected. And don't forget, the student loan had a 6% interest and the line of credit had an 8% interest. Just remember that what really matters is how the interest is calculated. The line of credit, just as a credit card, has a simple interest calculation which is interest on principal only. And the student loan, just like a mortgage, has a compound interest calculation which is interest on principal and interest on interest. My previous video, link in the description below, explains this concept in depth. So John, do you think others can take advantage of this strategy? I sure hope so. I guess the only question I have for you is, would you rather take 15 years paying your student loan, along with thousands in interest? Or would you rather pay it off in about 4 years and save thousands of dollars in interest? Please feel free to watch this video as many times as you need, to understand this easy strategy. And please like this video, subscribe, and share it with anyone you think may benefit from this strategy. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video.